It's official, people. This week we are going to finish draft 3 of my mountaineering thriller novel. So, cheers. So, here's the plan. Today is Monday, June 23rd. It's about midday, and I need to get this book to the beta readers that have lined up on Friday by like noonish before I head out of town for a frisbee tournament. So that means that I have basically like 4 days, right, since I've already used up the morning. But I do want to spend Friday morning to actually like put the documents into different formats because I don't know how people are going to want to read it. So I would like to get it done Thursday, which is so manageable because we have 6 chapters left. Though we're going to have to try and figure out how we want to end this book because I've been kind of going a little bit back and forth about like the ending note. I have figured out what I want to do for this big arc for the whole story. Like, we're not coming up from something from scratch, but it's like that final couple chapters, like where we leave off, what are the resounding consequences for the characters moving forward. That's what I'm like struggling with just a little bit. But for the next couple chapters, I don't think we'll have to worry about that as much. It's really just going to be the last 1 or 2. So I'm worried there's going to have to be some rewriting and some major brainstorming. That's okay. We'll do that when we get there. For now, we just have to focus on chapter 39, and it's a really fun one. So I can't wait to get started. Oh, and if you're new here, my name is Josie, and I've been writing this book for maybe like 9 months now. I started kind of October, November of last year. I've been thinking about this story for a very long time, so it's so rewarding for me to finally see it written down and on the page. Because I think I've started thinking about this story back in like 2020, 2021. So it's been a long time coming. Looks like Spikeball is not in the cards for tonight, which is unfortunate because I really want to get some activity and move my body today. Might still do something at home, but I feel like this is a sign to do a little bit more writing on my book today. And this is also good because it's been really hot and dry recently, and there's been forest fires kind of north and south to us, and different communities have been evacuated. And also there's just been like really bad smoke and air quality in town. So this will hopefully help the firefighters contain and beat back some of these wildfires that are going on, especially because we need the roads clear to drive on Friday. But today was good a writing day. I got to the end of chapter 40, but I'm not considering it done quite yet because I was really struggling with the last like 500 words because it was like a little bit of like a action sequence that I wrote really succinctly, and it was like so concise that it kind of like didn't make sense. So I've expanded it a little bit, but I was struggling with it because it was hard to like choreograph the action for that scene while also trying to write it well, because I just get really frustrated because I feel like I use the same words, the same verbs, and I just get in my head about it. So I wrote it really messy just one time to be like, here's the different sequence of what she's doing, and then I'm gonna go in hopefully in the next like little bit, and now that I've taken a break and actually like figure out how to write it well. But otherwise I'm feeling really good about it, and I'm also excited for the next chapter because it is a flashback chapter that I feel like adds like a whole new level of understanding for the story, which I'm very excited to get to because I feel like I didn't really touch it much in draft 2 because I drafted it pretty well the first time. And then something else that I have been doing is I have been writing down different plot threads that I have not wrapped up properly, or I don't think I will be wrapping up properly, and I need to spend a little bit more time on. So because I was so focused, you know, when designing the story, when writing it the first time, when looking at developmental edits, I was so focused on the main character's arc as well as the major subplots that I didn't really spend that much attention to all the other little things I introduced throughout the story. So I'm just writing down little things that I think would be important to add, and not that I necessarily think they'll have like their own new scene to tackle them, because the main character really is focused in like their world, and it's not like the main character cares about tying up these loose threads. So it's more about making sure that little hints are given in the last chapters so that you understand as the reader what's going on, but like the main character's not really paying attention to it, if that makes sense. So in an ideal world, I would finish chapter 40 tonight. I mean, maybe do chapter 41. I don't know. I'm not gonna get ahead of myself. Finish chapter 40 tonight, maybe do 2 chapters tomorrow, 2 chapters Wednesday, and then I have all of Thursday to work on these extra things, especially because I think I may have a plot hole. Yeah, I've got to make an important decision about something. One of these threads that I've just like put on the back burner. I already have one solution to this plot hole, but it would involve rewriting part of a chapter. chapter, which may be more extensive. So I feel like whatever solution I pick for the plot hole, I want it to be the least affecting of the story. So we'll see. I might have to brainstorm a little bit at some point. But for now, we're just gonna get to the end of the story, see what we're working with, see what things still need to be fixed, and then I think that's the best way. Just go from there. It's been a little bit since I've given you an update. It is like midday on Wednesday, June 25th. So what happened to Tuesday? Well, I don't know. I woke up and I was planning on trying to get some writing done before I had to do some more like work related stuff for my PhD. But then the list kept piling up of all the stuff I had to do for the PhD. So then I ended up getting like no writing done yesterday. I tried to start a chapter, but even then I just felt so distracted by all these other things I just needed to get done that I just had a hard time getting into it. And this last chapter, chapter 42, because I finished 41 on Monday night actually before I went to bed. But chapter 42 is a big one. It's almost 3,000 words, and it's the last very action heavy moment, and it's kind of the end of this climax. And then now I just have like these two pretty easy resolution chapters. I wasn't able to finish it yesterday, but I was able to finish chapter 42 today, which means we have 2 chapters left. I think I can get them done today, to be honest. I'm just currently doing laundry, so I'm just waiting for that. And I think I can smash them out. Like, they're both not that long, and there's not that much going on, which is why I feel like they're going to be pretty simple to edit. It was such a weird feeling getting to the end of chapter 42, because even though there's like 2 chapters left, like I'm not done and there's still things I want to go back to do, I feel like chapter 42 really encapsulates like the end of the character's journey. And when I finished that chapter, I got so engrossed in it that I had a moment of like, oh yeah, this is the real world, you know? It's just so crazy. The fact that you build this world when you create a book, you build these characters, and none of it's real, but it feels so real to you in your own head that it's like, how did this not actually happen? It's making me really excited to share this story with other people and to get their reactions and to know, am I crazy for thinking that this is good? Or do other people also agree? But before we can get too far ahead of ourselves, we do have to finish this book. So on to chapter 43. And I think I'm going to go back inside because I cannot see my computer screen very well. It's too sunny. We are on the last 2 pages of the book. Like, we are almost done. We're in the last chapter. And I actually kind of just stopped where I was when I realized how close I was to the end. And I've been doing other stuff to distract myself just because I'm not ready for it to be over. Like, it's just so crazy that we are so close to being done, because I'm imagining that this is like the last major rewriting of a draft, and that drafts moving forward will be like pinpointing specific stuff. I mean, I'm going to go in tomorrow and fix specific things or add specific things to fix up whatever I've put in my list. And luckily as well, the weather has gotten a little bit cooler, hence wearing a sweater for the first time in a long time. So I made Earl Grey. I haven't had a hot drink in an extremely long amount of time. So I like the idea of just drinking one of my favorite drinks while slowly finishing this. I still don't quite know the final moment. Like, I've been teasing the 2 sides of how this could go for the last couple chapters, and I feel like even I don't know. I mean, I kind of do know how I want it to end, but also I feel like I'm just gonna write it and see where it flows naturally. I don't know, I'm kind of scared for my character. Ugh. I know I can make them do whatever I want, but in moments like this, I'm just like, what is the most realistic? I did it. I actually did it. I can't believe it. I mean, I may play around with this last line a little bit more, but that's it. That's 95,519 words of story. Of a story I've been trying to tell for such a long time. Wow. I'm still gonna do the little edits and stuff tomorrow, so it won't feel like done until I've sent it out to everyone. And that also reminds me, I need to make sure that I actually have all of my beta readers' emails so I can send them on Friday. But oh my god, I did it. I did it. Welcome to the final day of working on the Mountaineering Revenge Thriller Draft 3. I cannot wait to make these final changes and then send it off and have other people tell me it's amazing and the best thing they've ever read. But first, we do have some changes to make. I did a little bit this morning. I picked the easiest one. Basically, like, some of these changes go from the easiest thing ever to actually having to go in and maybe change some stuff. So, like, for example, this first one is that I didn't commit to writing Ice Axe, Axe AX, or AXE, because both of those work with the E or without. And so I just had to go through, control find, and make sure that they were all the same. That was the easiest thing to do. But there is many more things to accomplish today. And even as I think about it, I've been writing a couple more. But a lot of these I feel like we'll just be adding a couple of sentences here and there. But there's one that's going to be a lot more work. But we're going to save that for probably last. But before I forget, I have not been up to date with coloring in my boxes. I feel like the first thing I should do is finish that before I get to any more, because we love productive procrastination. Finishing this book has honestly filled me with so much like adrenaline for writing another story. Like, I feel like that's what always happens. Like, it's always such a slow progress, and as soon as you get to the end, you're like, oh my god, that was amazing, I want to do it again. So I've started to think about what I want to do for my next novel a bit more, but I'm not going to do it quite yet. I think it's important that I take a break in July when everyone is reading it, just to kind of refresh myself and maybe actually get to some reading, because I haven't read in a really long time. And actually, I started to reread a book last night, and I was finding it really hard because I'm having to like turn my brain off from all the editing, because I found myself as I was reading it being like, well, if that was my book, I'd do line edits like this and this or whatever. So I feel like I just need to like clear my mind a bit, and then August is going to be all the major edits. So it's really probably not going to be until September that I start a new book. But my plan for when I send out this novel to my beta readers is to send it to them as a Word doc, a PDF, and an EPUB, just because I want to give them all the options of, I don't know how they want to read it. I'm going to print it out for my boyfriend to read because he doesn't like to write, or he doesn't like to read on a screen. And then I might end up using that document, physical document, to help me with edits, you know, in August when I get everyone's comments back. But I really don't know. I don't have a good process for this. I've seen a lot online of people coming up with like elaborate feedback sheets and stuff, and I think that would be helpful, but a lot of the people I'm sending this to, like, they're not necessarily writers themselves, and I feel like I'm hoping to just get a more holistic, bigger picture of like, how was it? Like, I don't need to know every single chapter, how did you feel? Every single character, how did you feel? But more like, are there any parts that were slow? Were there any actions that took you out of the story? Did everything make sense? Like, things that you would expect to see in kind of a reader's review of a book, rather than giving me already a critically analyzed, you know, review of my book, if that makes sense. Because I feel like it's also a little bit my responsibility to take like, oh, this section was slow, and then to be able to critically say like, okay, it was slow because the pacing dipped, because I didn't have like a forward momentum in the chapter, there wasn't a goal to achieve, it just kind of was there or something, you know? So there'll definitely be a lot of interpretation when I get the comments back from all the readers. Because I think at this point I've got 8 people who are going to be reading it. I'm not anticipating that everyone will be able to get it back to me in the time frame that I want. So we may have a few scragglers coming in a little bit later. But as long as I get at least a few by August, that would be great. So here we go. There is our finalized 44 chapters. Okay, I gotta get back to this list. I feel like today I'm like, no nonsense. Like, there's no time for any kind of procrastination. I need to get these edits done because there's a lot of planning I need to do for the upcoming Frisbee trip, as well as like the camping and stuff I'm gonna do after. So we are on the last change, and it is the major one, so it's the most amount of work. The other stuff actually went by really fast, but I have an idea for how to fix it. I don't just want to do it though, because I feel like if I do, I might just tear everything apart and make a big mess. So I'm going to spend a little bit of time. I'm going to brainstorm. I'm going to make myself a cup of tea and just chill out for maybe like 20 minutes, see what else I can come up with, maybe come up with a game plan of how to implement it into the pre-existing chapters, and then we're going to go from there. Oh my god. After a lot of humming and hawing, I honestly decided that that first idea I had was probably going to be the best. Like, it was the simplest, cleanest solution. And even though it was going to force me to at least change one scene quite a bit, I just feel like it was the best direction to go in. And I'm always nervous about when trying to fix problems, making the solutions too convoluted. And then it becomes more difficult to follow for the reader, and it just leads to way more problems down the road. Like in this case, I feel like simplest is best. And then honestly, when it got time to actually make those final changes, there was 4 major additions that I would have to do in different scenes throughout like the last of Act 3. It wasn't really that hard. It was almost like pieces finally fitting into place, and everything just came together. That's it. That is the end of draft 3. Honestly, it's going to be kind of nice to just chill and not worry about writing this, because I feel like I've been trying to like speed run draft 3 to get it to beta readers and to try and get this draft done before the end of summer when I'm moving, when usually, you know, the other 4 thrillers I've written, I have taken like a full year to get to this point. Now I've done it in whatever, I think it's like 9 months. So I've definitely really pushed myself over the last little bit. And not that it really became a chore, but definitely I was writing at a pace that I would not have been able to sustain for a very long time. And I was still enjoying it. Like, there's still some scenes, like, I've been skipping back and forth, right, to fill in the little extra changes that I've made today. And just going through some of those scenes and the action, I'm like, oh, this is so fun. Like, I think I did a really good job. I mean, who knows what other people are going to think. But at least for me, I'm saying it here and now, I am proud of what I wrote. So I think before I lose any more momentum, I'm going to change this document into all those formats that I was talking about and send it out to people. If you look closely, you can see 9 months of my life amongst these pages. 9 months working for this. It feels so strange to hold it after having worked with it on my computer for so long. This is the copy that my boyfriend's going to be reading, and then I'm going to use it afterwards to take notes and to make edits in, I think. It's the plan that I've come up with. And yeah, I've sent out now all of my emails with the book to my beta readers. So it's out in the world, people can read it, and it's honestly kind of nerve-wracking, especially because I read some of the first chapter and I already saw some like typos and stuff. And so that's a little bit embarrassing. I have been trying so hard in draft 3 not to think about the beta readers and the fact that people are going to read this draft. And it crept in a few times, and when it did, I would get like super self-conscious about what I was writing. But I feel like by the end there, I was just like so very much enjoying myself, the process of writing, that I forgot. And so it's only been kind of today, as I start to send these emails, where I've realized, oh, this is not my story anymore. Like, other people are going to see this. And I am honestly really nervous about what people are going to say. Like, all these people, I feel like, care about me, so obviously they're not going to be like, it's the worst thing ever and I hated it. But even just to get, you know, criticism, like, I feel like I'm really hit or miss with criticism. I'll either be like very open to it and eager to make things better, or it'll just hurt. But for the next couple weeks to a month, I am going to take a step back, because I really haven't been taking a break between drafts. Like, I know that that's like often a piece of wisdom people say, is to like take a couple weeks to many months to get a fresh perspective, but I've kind of just gone straight into the next one. So this is probably gonna be the longest break I'm gonna take. It's gonna feel so weird though not to write. I know I can use that time for other things, like catching up on the reading I want to do, like just being able to veg out and not have this like thing in the back of my head that I'm trying to work towards. But it's gonna feel so weird. But there's nothing for me to do now but wait and see what people think. So cross our fingers it's good. So thank you for hanging out with me, and yeah, I'll let you know in a little bit how it all went.